Welcome to 5 Minutes in the Word, a daily devotional in the Word of God.
So, Logan, what I find remarkable about the 26th Psalm is that David actually calls God as a witness.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about this?
Well, I mean, like you just said, again, this is another psalm that David pens with the word picture of making it like it's a court case. See, earlier in Psalm 7, Psalm 17, those are also painted like it's a court case. And again, like the first word in verse 1 kind of brings forth that idea too. Vindicate me, O Lord. Or vindicate could also mean acquit. And acquit we always tie to
Court case, yeah.
a court case, yeah. But along with verse 1, there's two major themes that go that really stand out to me, and it's the idea of integrity and trust. Just reading in verse 1, vindicate me, O Lord, for I have walked in your integrity, and I have trusted in the Lord without wavering. It's like David is living a lifestyle of obedience, but he can't outrun these people who are trying to get him to fall into sinful ways.
Right.
You see in verse 1, I have walked, I have trusted. And then you skip down to verse 4, I do not sit with men of falsehood, nor do I consort with hypocrites. I hate the assembly of evildoers, and I will not sit with the wicked. And going down even further to verse 6, I wash my hands in innocence. He's living a lifestyle of obedience. Therefore, he's living a lifestyle in a lot of ways. He's living a lifestyle of innocence in this case. Verse 2, prove me, O Lord, and try me. Test my heart and my mind. And I found it really interesting here that in the original Hebrew, it says, test my kidneys and my heart. And I got to thinking, I was like, what would you need to test your kidneys for? I guess the idea here brings forth, it's what's on the inside is what matters. It's definitely evident, I guess, if you're looking for a significant other. If she's pretty, great. But it's on the inside is what matters. How does she love the Lord, first of all? How does she treat others? Is she kind and caring and respectful to you? And so on and so forth. But it's on the inside is what matters. And it's the same principle in our spiritual lives as well.
Right.
It's on the inside is what matters. I want to go back to verse 6. I wash my hands in innocence, and I go around your altar, O Lord. Mr. Gary, can you remember of another time where there was a hand washing in innocence?
I remember one when somebody claimed that he was free from it. That'd be Pilate washed his hands. But I'm not sure he was really innocent because he had the authority and he gave it up.
He gave it up, exactly. David is saying he's innocent of wrongdoing, just like I imagine Pilate was trying to save his own skin. So I wash my hands in innocence. We tied that in with Pilate. But David here is saying that he's innocent of wrongdoing. Verse 7, proclaiming thanksgiving aloud and telling all your wondrous deeds. I don't think we'll ever have enough time to do this ourselves. We would never have enough time. When you think about it, proclaiming thanksgiving aloud and telling all of your wondrous deeds, we'll, again, never have enough time to do so. We'll come back to verse 8 in our conclusion. Verse 9, do not sweep my soul away with sinners, nor my life with bloodthirsty men. When people are harvesting wheat, they harvest the good part, they harvest the wheat, but they also harvest the chaff. And as we know in Matthew 3, the wheat and the chaff will be separated, and the wheat will go into the barn while the chaff is burnt. So here David is saying, let me be wheat. Let me go into God's barn. Let me be something that is good and keep me separate from the chaff. Keep me away from evil. Verse 11, but as for me, I shall walk in my integrity. Redeem me and be gracious to me. That first phrase, but as for me, I walk in integrity. Joshua 24 really jumped out to me. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord.
Right.
And I guess David, as being head of house, he'll say, I am going to walk in integrity. And then, Mr. Gary, verse 12, we have to go back to our feet in concrete analogy here. My foot stands on level ground. Again, we're not going to move unless we are planted in Jesus Christ. We see that again in Psalm 1 when the tree is planted by the streams of goodness. And then this last phrase, in the great assembly, I will bless the Lord. Kind of going back to verse 8, which says, O Lord, I love the habitation of your house, and the place where your glory dwells. When we come together for worship, that should be what we're coming together for. We're coming together to worship God. And if we come for any other reason, it's not good. So what do we do, or what should we do when Christians come together and assemble? That's something we should ask ourselves every time we come to assemble together.
Very good. You know, the one thing that I note as we go through here is he can say, I'm innocent, but the way he remains that way is when he realizes he sinned, he says so.
Mm-hmm.
He confesses it.
He does.
And if we want to be people of integrity like he was, we got to do the same thing.
Absolutely.